Alright then, good morning to everyone who's tuning in again. If you're that bored and you're actually getting up at 9 o'clock to follow these lessons, then this is the way it should be done. I was having a good think about this yesterday. The more we can keep this as normal as we can, but staying at home, it might revolutionise the way we do a lot of work from now on. Just like the World Wars invented a lot of the machinery we use today, including computing. Right, year 10. Now, this is a different format to all the other lessons because there is no lesson objectives, there's no guide, there's no quizzes, although there is a quiz at the end of the 4 lessons I've got planned, and then we'll see where we are with this going back to school. There is a massive test at the end of it all because what you do in year 10 is your actual, if you've chosen computer science for an option, so those people who might be watching this because they're in year 9, this is the kind of work how I promote. It's largely independent learning where we have an end goal, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and then we talk about the parts we need to learn or we need to identify and then understand how we do it. But we do the parts separately in isolated environments. Like you'll see what I mean when I say this in a minute. So the first thing we do have to do though is create our own PowerPoint, our own questions, and in the end our own quiz. So we'll get started with all that. But because this is going to go out to the year 10s, I'm going to do exactly what I did with the year 9s, explaining how you can do this without having any software or anything like that. So the first thing we're going to do is install Python onto your machines. Now I've had a couple of people say that this isn't working, but I know it is because I've installed this software on 1,000 machines in the last half a year, maybe. Well, friends, family, people with Macs, stuff I don't use. I've no idea how to use an iPad. My daughter's got one; she wanted an iPad, so I bought one. I haven't got a clue how to use it, but I'll learn. I'll sit and I'll work it out. I won't just give up after 30 seconds. I am going to now reinstall Python onto my machine to show you what it might look like for anybody's regular computer. So the first thing you do is you get yourself open a browser. So I'll get one here for you. There you go. I'm going to go to use this my favorite search engine, Google, and then I'm going to type in Python programming. You do that, and you should get, if it's working, if the internet's doing what it should be doing, and that's finding the best thing for Python is this, python.org. So you click on python.org and you get this screen, and you want to go to downloads. Now when you hover over downloads, it's like my website. You want this Python 3.82 because I noticed yesterday I was working in 3.3, so I'm going to actually install a new version of Python today and get using it. So I'll click on that, and it says, do you want to save this binary file? And if you click save file, it should go into your downloads folder. Now I'm using Firefox. I believe in Google Chrome it might say down here that you've installed it, and Internet Explorer is the same. I'm not sure. I use Firefox. I could open it up in all three, but I'm not going to waste that time. It'll go hopefully to downloads folder, or it will ask you where do you want to save it. So when I go into my downloads folder, I just open it. Just click on it, and here it is. We're going to install now. Just install now, and then it'll do that. Yep. And then you just wait. So this is installing Python, the programming language, onto your computer. Right, so that's all that. Special thanks to this guy who did it. Yeah, me. Start with an online tutorial. Yeah, close. Nothing seems to have happened. So let's type in here Python IDLE. Now, that might not be the one I've just installed, but if you type in Python idle or idle into your search bar, then it's there. But otherwise, you could have looked where it installed, and I believe if you just go to your My Computer, I press Windows key and E. I have no idea where it would have installed it. But usually it's on your C drive on Python here. It's usually there. But anyway, so when you're on that, if you just have a look down here, you can see all these py files. I think it's if you go into, it's not libs, I think it's one of these, lib I think. There's an idle file somewhere. But if, I swear you don't need to do this. This is like if it really isn't working. Is it an include? I forgot how Python works when with its install. Because I know if you open that, you just get it in console mode, and you don't want that. Well, I know it doesn't matter. Once you've installed it, if you type in idle into here, it'll come up with all your idles. Now I've obviously installed all the Pythons over the years. It's not showing me my 3.8 yet, but I'm just going to choose that one. And what you should get is that kind of screen here. And when you've got that, that's your idle working. You see all that writing, that's like your programming screen. And then all you've got to do is go File, New. You get this new file open. It's like a text document, very much like a text document. And then when you do your basics, print hello, and then you run that, or press F5, save your file. You've got to save your work. I'm going to save mine to my desktop. I'm just going to call it test program. Don't call your program Python. There you go, everything's working, everything's looking good. Right, that's one way. The next thing I want you to try and do now, this is going to help you if you do this. I want you to install Thonny. Now I want people to understand right now, I keep saying this, Thonny isn't Python. Thonny is an IDE. It helps you work with Python. So if I type Thonny in now, I guarantee the top link will be the Thonny IDE. It helps you with programming. It's really good. It does these features to help you, like look at strings, run things, trace variables, give you hints if things go wrong. It's really important that you understand that an IDE or Thonny is not Python. So you click on Windows, you click Save File. It'll do exactly the same thing as it did before. Click on it. Click on your thing. Look, it's showing me the last two things I've downloaded in the last few minutes. Now I'm just going to overwrite my Thonny. So it doesn't recognize the file because it's an exe. Your computers don't like running exes. They always ask you for permission. But I know it's safe. So more info. Yeah, that's a publisher. It is Thonny 3.2. Run anyway. And you'll get exactly the same dialog box as you got before with Python. Let's see here. Mine's not popped up in front of me. So do you want to install Thonny? Yes. Accept the agreement? Yes. Do you want to create a desktop icon? I would, so that you can find it dead quick. Right, you don't have to go searching around like we did before. I don't like putting icons on my desktop because I like to look where it is and then have a look what's in there. Install, nice and easy. Going to install, it'll do exactly the same. It's doing something. Now I know it's already installed on my computer and I'm not sure if this setup is going, wait a minute. But it will work, I know it does. So in the interest of time, I'm going to cancel this off now. Oh, it's just gone and started doing it just as I said that. It got scared. And it's like, oh, better install. I have no idea what I'm going to be creating. This might be the best programs I've ever compiled. Oh no, we don't compile in Python. We interpret. Right, so it's done that. Everything looks great. Thank you, Patrick McKenzie. Thanks, Patrick. If you have got a few quid, right, you know, a couple of quid in a bank, go and donate to these people who just do this for nothing really, and make our lives a lot easier. I mean, I wish I wasn't so lazy. I could get on with this and help them. But anyway, if you now go to your thing, the way I always do it, you search for that. I type in Thonit and bang, look what you get. Click on it, and voila, you've got this. Now I'm pretty sure if it doesn't open up straight away, you might have to go to options and tell the Thonit where your Python file is, so that it knows it's reading Python. That might be the only thing. If that's the case, I'll completely uninstall. I need a message off you at some point. That's why I've put this video to streaming for adults just for today, because if there's a problem, I want you to put in the comments. I'm not responding to you, I'm not talking about anything. I just want to know what it's doing on your end, and then I can troubleshoot for you. Right, so year 10 work. This is what you all have been doing all week if you've been watching this. You're going to get onto that browser again, and you're going to make sure you've got a Google account. So if you go to Google, and this is mine, My Intense Computer Training, but if you sign out, you can create a new Google account. Create a new Google account. If you do that, I'll guarantee it shows you this link. You click on this, you click on that, and then you make a brand new Google account. You'll get your own email, you get everything, because once you've signed all that up and you're ready to go, you get access to this, which is important. You click on this little box up here, and in all of these things Google does for you, not a lot of people actually have a look in this, but you've got this thing called Docs. You can type in Google Docs up here if you want, but Docs, we are going to make our own PowerPoints and our own lesson. We're going to document our own thing. I mean, it's going to be there forever because Google Docs will save automatically. If you cut and paste code and put it in there, you don't have to worry about saving it. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to make a new slides. Click on a blank slide, and we're going to have this, and I'm just going to call it Lesson 1 Python Programming. Now you've got to get used to doing this, because it's how revision works. If you get involved with your own learning, you'll remember it. And programming, I've always said, it sounds weird this, as a teacher, I can't teach you how to program. I can show you what you've got to write in, I can show you how it works, I can keep giving you examples, but I can't get you to understand it. It sounds weird that, but it's actually the truth. Some people will just never get this, and it's a shame because it can open up a lot of avenues, just this problem solving, new, building things for yourself, creative subject, which I think is the best subject in the world because you can do whatever you want. So Lesson 1 Python Programming, I'm just going to take you through it step by step. I'm not going to bother making it look nice. I'm just going to keep a white background screen. Don't need themes, don't mess about. So what are our objectives? When you start programming, you've got to have an objective. You've got to want to do something. So I was thinking about it last night, and I thought a nice thing we can do is to program a hangman game. Program a hangman game where a user must guess a word to do with computer science, they have how many lives? They have 5 tries. Simple as that. And that is what we're doing. We're going to build this hangman game. So I'm not sure how much you can see on my screen because I have these things in the middle. You've got to try and put all my content in the middle. Right, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Now then, I'm going to show you something else now, which a lot of people have been saying, I can't install, I can't do anything, I can't do anything. If you get open to your Google page again, and you type in to Google, I'll just make sure I'm actually on the Google homepage so people don't start going, oh, I've not got the same. If you type in learn Python, learnpython.org, click on this, and then you click on Hello World. You've got Python installed without having to install any programs whatsoever. You can just use this. So if I wanted to go print hello and then run it, comes up here, all the work. You don't need to do anything, it's already in the browser. I think anybody with a mobile phone can do this. Yeah, it's a blag doing this on a mobile phone because of all the symbols, but it'll get the job done. The only problem with this is you can't just clean it up. You could copy it and put it in this next one. You could do it 3 times here, but you don't have a lot of space, you see. You just don't. I wonder if there's like I've never clicked on that. I'm not sure what that will do if I download and run it. But you've got your work here. The only thing I say when you're doing this is why you have the PowerPoint open, because if you type something in, every time you type something in here, you should open back up your presentation and then just paste it in here, because the only way you can get your screen back is to refresh your page, and then you've got to delete everything again if you want to start again and delete things, because it keeps building it up in here. And if I go for I in range 10,000, print I don't know what's going to happen here. Yeah, it's not done it. I know there's some things that don't work, but I know if you go back and you go to loops, because when you're doing loops they must let you do it, because if we run this, it's not showing you. It has done it. It's just gone and put it right at the bottom. I didn't realise that's what it's done. So yeah, you've not got a lot of space to see, and this is why I think if we find one with a load of like lines, we can program in that. So which would be the biggest one on here? Classes might be pretty big. If you can see try and exception handling, these will be big. Yeah, this one's got a lot of space, so you've got a lot of space to see your work. Right. See, there's some things here I've never heard of, and see, I don't program in Python, as you know, but I certainly know how to program. I'm going to have a look down this myself, because this site will help you if you haven't got anything else. It's actually quite good, but it's very trivial, the examples they give you, and it doesn't look like you're doing anything. But anyway, on with the show. We're going to build this hangman game. Now, I was having to think about it last night, and I've decided to teach it like I'm going to teach you every single bit you need to know to get it done. So we're going to go into really advanced bookings at things, but I'm not going to tell you how it's going to work in Hangman. Your job is to take all of these lessons I'm going to build for you, take the individual parts, and then get it to create Hangman. And if you can do that, I think you'd do a really good job at GCSE. You'd probably get your top marks in your paper too, because you know it and you understand what you're looking at and you can build it. Right. So the first thing I want us to do is, I'm going to get rid of this because I don't need to remember how to print hello, is I think the first thing we all need to understand how to do in Python is to generate a random number. So this part of my video, we're going to call it generating random numbers. and I'm going to have a quick look at my timestamp on this recording, and I'm going to put all these in the description. So this starts at 20 minutes 39. So this is the actual start of the lesson really, because I just wanted to make sure you all had something installed to do this. There are thousands of other things you can do, but I'm just trying to keep it quick. Right, so generating random numbers. So we get open Funny, and I'm going to show you the code. So I'm going to try and keep these two screens open at the same time so I don't have to keep flicking backwards and forwards. I don't need much space in my in this. I can limit this, I think, by... Can I get rid of this altogether? No. It'd be nice if I could. I think you can in Excel. Yeah, you're gonna have to just... If you can't see that, I'm really sorry. I'd sooner you see this than that, though. Wow, they haven't given you much space to work with there. I'm just going to go into Tools, go into Options. I'm going to make my file size just a little bit bigger. Sure, it's in Options. General, Editor. Or show your line numbers. If you're using Funny, go into Editor and show your line numbers. It's important. Theme of font, output font, editor font. I'm assuming that's going to make it a little bit bigger for me, but that could be just that font. There's a lot more in this new version than the version I was using yesterday, which is cool. Right. Oh no, I can just control and scroll, to be honest, so that'll do. Right. So we're going to start with this Hangman program. So the first thing I need to do is generate a random number, and why. So we write in what we're doing, create Hangman. So I'll use a hashtag, create Hangman game. What are your rules? 5 lives, random word. So you just type in basically your, what we call your specification, your brief, because them are our objectives. We're not going to create the whole game today. We could create, produce a random word. We could, because we are doing random, we could do that bit, but we're just going to do something. But the first thing I think we should do is generate a random number so we can pick a word from a list of so many words, I think, and I've mentioned a couple of programming things there. So this new hashtag, I'm going to put generate a random number. Now I know you've done this before, but this is lesson 1, and I'm making sure I've got these videos. I'm going to do these videos every week from now on, so that we've got like a pullback, like when you're in the lesson and people are talking to me about things and we have those conversations, which is, I don't mind doing it, but we are wasting a lot of time. I want this to be like the bare minimum. The first thing you have to do is you have to use this keyword import, and then the word random. This imports, it's like the Matrix where he downloads Kung Fu into his head. You have now told Python that I got this book in my head called random, and inside random are all these things I can do. And if I go print and I go num, we are going to print out a variable called num. Now we haven't made that num yet because we're going to do it now. Num is equal to random dot rand range. Got to spell this exactly right. So it's a random range between 0 and the number below this number, 10. So it's going to, num is now going to be a random number between 0 and 9, because if you think about it, there are 10 values because you've got to count 0. So when I run this now, because we're in Thonny, we don't have to do all that saving malarkey. We just have to save the thing once onto our desktop. I'm going to call it test. And then, do you want to replace it? Yeah. And there you go. You've got your random number. How do I know it's random? Because if I run it again, well, it said 3 again. If I press it again, it's gone 6. If I press F5 again, and you can see it generating this random number every single time. Now then, so we've generated a random number. So let's now do something with that, because like I said before, I'm not going to tell you how you're going to do it in Hangman. I'm going to explain how you do the parts to the game, and then you have to somehow figure out or think, how do I now make this game using those skills? So how can we make a little bit of a game out of this? We're going to do a guessing game. Now this is going to go flying into some advanced techniques straight away, but that's not the point. I'm just showing you how you can incorporate random, and then I'm going to stop. We're going to do another part, and it might be what we've just done in this part. This is how we're going to do it. So my advanced example is going to come at 2620. Right, so how do I use this random number? Well, why don't we try and guess this number? So, okay, if I've got to guess the number, then I've got to be able to have a guess. So I'm going to write the word guess, and to guess the number, it's going to be int input, and then, oh, make sure you spell this right, int input, enter number. Right, I'm not explaining any of this from now on, just so that you know, those people who are like, oh, what does all this mean? I'm just using this. This is what I want you to learn, how to create a random number. And now I'm going to show you how we can use it. And if you're picking things up, if you're one of those faster learners, you can pick a lot more up with this bit. Right, so you've got to guess at the number. So we are going to keep on printing the number so we know what it is, so we can not be guessing all day long. And we're only going to have one guess. If guess is equal to num, then we are going to print well done. Well done. Else print unlucky. So we run it. Printed out our number because I've told it to, so I know what it is. I know what this number is now, so I'm just going to pick 4, not 5, and it says unlucky. I'm going to run it again. It's free. I'm going to press free, and it's well done. So I know my program's working. I know it's all working. And what we've used there is if statement and a user input, but that's not the important bit right now. The important thing is I've generated a random number, and I've put it into a little bit of a program, which is right. Well, I don't see a lot of people online doing this. They just say what a random number is and print it out and then just do trivial things. We're going to try and make a little program with everything we're talking about. Right, so that's that. I think we've done. Now, when you've done this, what I'd like you to do is do 3 quotation marks and then another 3 underneath it. And what it'll do is it'll highlight everything out. So now it's not going to run that anymore. It's there though. It's there forever, and we can use it. It's we're going to build this game, the parts of this game in little bits. So by the end, we'll have a big document with examples for everything in the game, and then you've got it, and then you can open a new one, save this as another file, and then open it side by side, and then use the skills. Right. So the next bit in my thing is, we're going to think about what we're doing now. So we've generated a random number. Now then, I think the next thing we should learn is lists. Now lists are really, really important in Python, and there was what I'd consider an advanced topic for a lot of people, because there's a lot of things you've got to know about them, and there's a lot of ways you can make lists. Now this is going to be the last part of this video I'm going to make, because I don't want the videos going on for much longer than an hour. And there's 30 minutes left, so it's as much as I can get done in an hour, really. Trying to be as slow and as methodical as I can be. So we're going to go how to create a list of things. See, I'm being careful not to give you the I've not changed the title of my video here, so I'm just doing that while I've just looked. So people are going to be looking at a year 9 lesson 10 one video here. So I'm trying my hardest not to give it to you in a hangman context. I'm trying to give it to you, and this is what we have in Python. This is what it does. This is what we can do with it. So can you now apply that learning? And I'll say that at the start of every section. So we're going to start creating a list of things at 30:40. See, we've been half the way through our video now. I'll timestamp all of this when I put the video up. Right. So lists are very important in Python. So we're going to create a list of things. There's an objective, and that's what we're just going to go and execute. So what is a list? It's just a thing in Python where we can store loads of information. Now in programming, we refer to containers or lists of things as arrays. In your exams, it will talk about Bobby has an array of items. There's a little bit of a thing with Python. It doesn't care what you throw into its lists. You'll see what I mean as we talk more about it. I'm just giving you a heads up. In regular programming, arrays can only store one type of information. So if you were looking at like an electronical bus timetable, all the information might be strings. There might be things like that. There might be integers. Python will let you throw in multiple different types into its lists, which in proper programming we call arrays. Some of that might be dead confusing for some of you, but just know I've said it, have it in the back of your mind. You don't need to know anything about it right now, but we're going to create our first list. We're just going to create an empty list. Tell Python I want an empty list. I'm going to create a list of subjects equals, and that's it. That's the syntax. The syntax is you've got to create a variable name. We can call it anything you want. You can call it subs if you want. It doesn't matter. You use the assignment operator, and then you put these square brackets. That means it's an empty list. I could right now add things into the list, which I'm going to, but usually you create empty lists because what you'd like to do sometimes is fill the list later on and not straight away, but because this is a beginner example, I'm going to fill it right now. So what subjects have we got? Well, we know we've got the main three. Maths. Notice how I've put this in speech marks, and then straight after the item I put a comma, and I put that, science, comma, English. I'm just going to add 3 items in my list, that's it. Notice the syntax. These are all string elements, and there are 3 elements. So if I wanted to print out science, you have to do this thing called indexing. So we go print, we have to call the name of the list, subjects, and then because it's an array or a list, we put 2 square brackets at the end, but this is where the computer science numbers come in. In computer science, you start your counting at 0. So this is item 0, between this comma, this is item 1, this is item 2. So I want to print out science, I have to put 1 in there, because that's item 0, that's item 1, that's item 2, but there are 3 items in the list. So if I ran that now, what you should see is you can get science printed out, because it's just printed subject and 1. I want to show you a keyword now, which a lot of people don't get taught until later, but it's really important. I want to know how big my list is. Now I know in this case it's a small example, and this is what I'm saying, those sites you go on, they give you dead trivial examples where you can't really see the power of it when the programs are so small. I'm going to use a keyword called len. Stands for length, and if you put your brackets after it, which you have to, and then I put subjects in, what that does is it counts how many items are in all of subjects. And look, it says science and 3. And I'm going to show you something else now. Watch this. If I copy this and I put len subjects 1 in brackets, so it's len, and then I put subjects 1 in brackets, and then I run it, what do you think that 7 means? I think normally you'd pause the video, but this is live right now. So you've had a think, and if you're saying, well, wait a minute, it's showing 7 because len has counted every single character in that. Watch this though. Put a lot of spaces in it. Let's run it again. It's gone to 19. It's counted every single space as well. So in programming, you've got to watch out when you use strings, because it counts space on one of the exam questions you get, they always have a word with a space in. How many characters are in line 3? And you'll be like, oh god, there's 6 when there's a space because it's the cat, or 7 even, because you count the space. Right, so you can see how that works. That's a really, really useful thing to know, that when you want to know just how many numbers you're using or working with. So I'm just going to delete all of that now because we don't need it, because this is what we need. So we know how to create a list, we know how to put items in a list. What if I want to, and this is our advanced example now. Oh no, it's not. I've got a couple of things I need to show you. Now with lists we can do a various amount of things, and I'm only going to pick on 3 of them today because I think they're important. We can we have methods on lists, and the methods I'd like you to learn is subjects.pop, and this will remove an item from the list. If you don't specify a number, it will remove the last item, I believe. Now I don't know, like I said, Python, I don't work in Python a lot, so I'm learning about it every time I open Python. So we remove an item from the list, and if you just do that, it'll pop the last item, and we'll then print the list every time, subjects, and we'll see what happens now. So we've done that, and there you go. Yeah, it has popped. It's popped out science because the first thing we've done is pop science. So now science ain't in the list anymore. It's permanently gone. From this point on, that is. If I run the program again, it still makes it. There's pop. There is subjects dot append. Now this adds an item to the end of the list. So what you can do is I can add computer science. So what it's going to do, this program, is it's going to pop off the last item, print the item out, and then don't bother to keep typing it out, just copy and paste. I'm going to add then at the end of my list computer science instead, so it's going to say math science, computer science. Bang. So math science, it's popped it off, print that, pop it off. Ooh, the memes. And then math science, computer science, easy enough. And then the last one I want to use is insert. And insert, and I believe the way you do insert is you put the position, the element of the array, and then what you want to put in. So I think that's what you do. No, it's not. So I've got to go and use the Googles now and go to lists, and let's see if they've actually got it really quick for us in here. No, they're just doing basic. Oh no, they have. No, they're using append, they're not using. So you go Python lists insert, and oh, I thought why is it that's not working? Oh, look at that. I'm an idiot. I forgot to put an S on it, and I hope you saw that before me, because this is the bane of a computer science teacher's life. Just silly errors like this and kids telling me, oh, it's exactly the same as yours. No, it ain't. I missed an S. And look at that. It works. Oh, I've not printed it out. So I've not seen what it looks like now. So you can see it's inserted at position 1, so 0, 1 printed in geography, and that's your learning for today. And now we're about to move on to our advanced topic, which is 40 minutes. Right, so we've got all this, which is fine, and I want to use this list now. So the advanced topic would be, I want to check if, or do a quick game to ask the question. Name the subject, and it's just going to give you the, see, doing this off the top of my head is not the best, but it's the best way I think I can do this, because if I'd planned it out, it would be on rails, and I don't want that. I want a little bit of you just to sit with the video for an hour, and then you've done some work anyway. You've listened to the tips, you've listened to things, and it's just a nice learning experience, I guess. Right, I want to randomly pick one of our subjects. I don't want to pop anything out yet. So I'm going to know. I will. This is going to be our list at the end. This is the list we're working with. I want to randomly pick a subject. So I'm going to pick sub equals, I can't use the word subjects again because that'll overwrite my array. Sub equals, and then I'm going to use the random number we generated above. So I can just copy this for now. Oh, in fact, I'll take it out of its speech marks. Generate this random number. I know what it is, so I can tell that it's working. Sub equals, and then subjects, and then num into here. That will set whatever item randomly to sub. So I'll know what the random number is, so I'll know that that's 0, 1, 2, 3. But there's something else we need to do. We need to do a random range in the length of subjects. We're using that len again. And I need to cut that out and put that after I've made the array. You can only find the length of something after you've made it. So num won't work anymore there. So I'm going to print num now. So we've got a random, we've made our list. We're now going to set a number between the range of this 1, 2, 3. It's going to be between 0 and 3, just like we did in the last example. And it's going to print that out. So just so that I know what it is, it's going to pop the last item out. It's going to append computer science in. It's going to add geography in. And then I'm going to set one of these words, so subjects num, whatever position it is, set whatever that item is, a random number, to sub. So I'm going to now print out, so print sub 0. More game memes. So print sub 0, and that will print, if you remember what happened before when we printed out the letters from the len, sub 0 is going to be the first letter of the subject, and I'm going to say straight after it, can you guess the subject? Put this into speech marks. And I need to get the user to add their input, so I'm going to go guess equals input, and I'm just going to leave that completely blank like this because I just want it to wait underneath the line. And then so then we're using our if, and then subject num, subject whatever that random number was. So if that is equal to guess the thing you wrote in, you're going to pick print well done, else nope. So let's see if that works. So we run. So we can see our list because I've made it printed out just so I can see. So can you guess the subject? And it's G. Can you guess this? I'm wondering if we can say straight after that we can print out the length of the length of sub, the length of that entire word, so that we can put it in. We can, you know, it gives us a bit more of a guess, a bit more of a clue. Oh, sub, can you guess subject? What have I done wrong here? Oh, I've not put a comma after that. So let me get rid of this assistant now. So we set the word to sub. I print out the first letter of sub, which is a word within there. I'm going to print out the length of sub, just to put it like, I could put it in brackets, like it's a little bit of a clue. Can you guess the subject? Then we're going to, if it is exactly the same word, which was, I could just write sub here. If sub is equal to guess, yeah, we should do that really, it's better. Then print well done, and everything should work. So the random number was 1, so it should be geography. G, it's 9 letters long. Can you guess the subject? Now then, this is what you've got to be careful. There's a capital G in there, so you have to have a capital G. Look, if I don't, geography, make sure I'm spelling it right here. It says nope, because it wasn't exact, but it's doing it again. Geography. It says well done. And it's now done, pick the number 2, and that should be science. C012. Can you guess the subject? If I run it again, G again, I'm just waiting for computer science to see if it's... See, I think because of running this list here, it only thinks there's 3 items in the list, so I don't think it's ever going to pick computer science. This is why I was going to get rid of the pop and the appends and all that before we ran it, because it's giving us a number between 0 and 3 now. But if you get what I've just done there, that's your advanced topic. We have made it so that we've got a little bit of a guessing game going on here. So that would be maths, capital M, maths, and well done. I'll show you what you can do though. What I would do is, if I were doing this in the first place, is I would make all these small letters, everything in the list, small letters every time. And when you get the guess input, I would put dot lower at the end of this, and that will make any entry from the user they write in will always go down to small characters. So if they type in something like this, can you guess the subject? S. If they write in science like this would have been wrong before, but if we do it now it goes right because it's equating it to a small letter. So that's the end of that, and we're coming up to 48 minutes, so we'll do a nice little review now. So I've created this. I'm going to save it as year 10 planning notes. So what have we learnt today? Let's just have a quick look. Let's have a recap. So I would now put 3 dots at the top, 3 dots at the bottom, and then I've now got all of this, which I can just keep, and then I'd start programming again, press enter down a few times, but I still got it. So let's have a look. We learnt about importing random, and then we learnt about, and because I had to change it a bit, we then learnt about how to create a random number. In this example, I'm creating a random number from the length of that list, which is 0 to 3. I'm printing the number out. I then learnt about how to store things as a list. Lists, Python's container, and we've done 3 methods. The method is every time you see a dot in programming, we call them methods. So a method of a list is to pop something, and that will pop the last item from the list if you don't specify. If you put a 1 in here, it will pop item 1 out, so that's the second item in the list, because remember, indexing starts at 0. Append, it will always append to the end of the list. Append, it will always go to the end, so I should really comment appends an item to the end of the list. And then if you want to put it in a specific place, we use insert, puts an item at a specific place. in a list. And then we did our advanced little program where I used things I haven't talked about yet in the whole program. Some of the stuff we did reuse, but it's just to show you how to get a little bit of something out of it rather than just doing trivial examples all day long, which I've never been a fan of. Well, I hope this video has been a little bit more explanatory what we get in the lessons, because when I'm darting around trying to help people out and people giving up every 5 seconds, it gets hard to do. If you need anything in particular to do with these lessons, these videos will be left as not for kids, because you are adults in year 10 and 11, because 11s can use this. I'm not responding to comments. If I see any comments in the section which are just like not conducive to the learning process of this video, I'd delete them. This is not about being on YouTube for clicks and views and all that. I'm not doing it for that. I'd prefer if you didn't like, subscribe and all that, because I just don't want any traction on the videos at all. They're there for you. If you know who I am, you know who these videos are. I don't want to have to be doing like a working job for YouTube. I'm not interested in that life. Thanks for listening, and if you think this has been useful, please give me some feedback on if you didn't understand something. Tell me about if you can't install Phony. Tell me your problems, and I'll try and produce a response video to you, and keep that on an unlisted thing, and I'll just paste the link into this chat. So thanks for watching, and just adhere to government advice. Try and keep yourself busy, because if this is going on for a few more weeks as we think it is, you've got a big 6-weeker coming up, which I think will, it'll really test, do you actually know what to do when you've been given your own management sort of thing. So thank you.